Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Tripp. This episode is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. Go see them in Foley, Pensacola, Milton. Yeah, that's right. We got a special guest this Saturday. One of my coaches and a good friend, Coach Erv Chambliss. Coach, man, it's great to have you on the show.
Great to be here, Paul.
Oh my gosh. It's been quite a while. We did a reunion show on the radio a few years ago up at the camp.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun, but we're going to tackle your story, and it's a beautiful story. And I want you to start from the beginning, Coach. Tell everybody where you were born, mom and dad, and your siblings.
All right. Well, all started in Tuskegee, Alabama, 1953. So wow. a little while ago, and was born in the South. And a really different era with things going on.
Yeah.
Born to my mom and my dad, my birth father. My mom was, she was in her teens, so was my father. And tragically, a lot of things in the South weren't real good. My dad died. I won't go into the details with that. And Mom moved north because she had brothers and sisters that were north already.
Oh, wow.
And I lived with my grandparents until I was 5 years old. But Mom came back and forth to Tuskegee and eventually moved me to Hornell, New York, with my two other siblings at the time.
Wow. Did you have an older brother, a younger brother or sister?
No, I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of 9.
Whoa, holy macaroni, spaghetti, and pasta fazool, Coach. What? I didn't know that.
Well, I'm the oldest of 9 and moved north during the migration when a lot of the minorities and blacks in the South moved north, and most of my extended family moved north. So that's why my mom was eventually in Hornell, New York.
Where'd you go to high school?
I grew up in Hornell, New York. I started school in Hornell, New York, at the age of 6, because in the South you didn't start school till you were 6 years old. So I started in Hornell, New York. Graduated from Hornell High School in 1972, and then proceeded on to my college career at University of Rochester.
Holy cow, Coach! What a story. Talk about your high school team and your coach and how you got your love of lacrosse and football.
Well, didn't play lacrosse in high school. In Hornell, New York, we were in 1957, 58, 59. That was the farm team of the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Wow.
And it was a baseball town. The southern tier was basically a baseball area. It wasn't big on lacrosse. The only big time lacrosse within the area was Salamanca, which was to our west, about 65 miles, and Corning, Elmira area, about 45, 50 miles to our east. And then you headed up into the Finger Lakes, where a lot of the lacrosse became really, really big time. The reason I got attached to lacrosse is because a lot of the 2 and 3 sport athletes in Corning and in that area, I got to know very well, but by going to summer camps. And I played track. A lot of my best friends played baseball, but I ended up in track because we were so competitive in baseball. And at that point, I was better at running over hurdles and jumping into sand with the triple jump than I was hitting fastballs.
Yeah, me too.
So I ended up being a track star and track captain and held a couple records. And my closest friends were baseball guys in the spring. And most of us played 3 sports.
How old are you when you started playing football?
Oh gosh. Back in those days would have been 7th and 8th grade. Because we didn't have the midget ball and the
youth
little guys.
Yeah, my father actually started the one in Liverpool there.
Yeah, we didn't start playing football until we were 6th, 7th grade.
What position did you excel at? What did you love?
We played everything, and I did that all the way up until college. I actually taught myself to kick, so I was the backup kicker. I was a defensive back, and I was a wide receiver. Once I got to college, in high school, I did a little bit of everything. I was a wide receiver, defensive back, quarterback, you name it, I did it.
Wow.
But once we got to college, I didn't want to get rid of a lot of things that I thought would help me make the varsity team, because I was on the freshman team in those days.
Right.
You had to make the varsity, even though you got recruited. You got recruited. You were on a freshman team.
Right.
So over the summer of my freshman year, I had started doing some kicking, and I said, well, if I can make the varsity in 3 different areas, that gives me a better chance to make the varsity. I was a wide receiver, defensive back, and the kicker. Unfortunately, the kicking went down the tubes, because my sophomore year, after I made the varsity, I had a severe tear practicing kicking at the last week before going to camp. And I got to camp, and the trainer told me, he said, have you gotten this checked out? I said, well, no, I thought it was just a pull. He said, well, it's hardened, and that's why it's getting worse. So what I did to help me make the varsity held me back for 3 weeks going into my sophomore season.
You tried everything. You tried everything to get on. You're a thinker, a jack of all trades.
I made sure I had all my bases covered, so they had to really strike me out before they're going to tell me, hey, you got to leave.
I had to strike you off every single position. Oh my gosh. You're a thinker. University of Rochester is a good school. It's not easy to get in there.
No.
Who kept you with your grades in high school and gave you the discipline?
I had great mentors and coaches coming through Hornell, New York.
Yeah.
Coach John Batone, who has passed away, was one of my biggest mentors, and my football coach. Yeah. And right after that was my basketball coach, Jim Farrell. He actually pitched for the Phillies farm team for a while. Yeah. But he was my basketball coach until my sophomore year in high school. Yeah. And Coach Batone was my football coach until my sophomore year in high school. And then we had some coaching changes, but they were the biggest mentors in my early years. And then it became Coach Stark at University of Rochester. He was attached to almost everything I did, all the way through getting to coach you.
Tell us about that. Tell us about Coach Stark and how you got your love and wanted to be into coaching.
Coach Stark, he will tell you, and he's passed away at this point now, 4 years now. Mm. Coach Stark was an All-American at Syracuse. Wow. Was a 3-sport athlete in the Syracuse School District.
Wow.
Had the all-time scoring record in basketball in the Syracuse School District. Went to Syracuse, played football there, was a quarterback his junior and senior year, and eventually got a look at by the pros, but nothing worked out. So he ended up going back to Syracuse and coaching in 1959, where he coached Jim Brown's last senior year.
Oh my gosh,
Coach. That's how he got into coaching, and eventually ended up at Harvard and then University of Rochester. So he was my mentor all through my years. And reason I got to coach you is because a third of our football team, because he was a Syracuse guy in and out, a lot of my teammates were Syracuse guys, and my roommate was actually a Liverpool guy.
Wow. Holy
so that's how I ended up. That's how I ended up in Syracuse, because almost everybody that was close friends to me, that meant a lot to me, were Syracuse guys and Central New York guys.
All right, let's start talking about that. 1977, you arrive in Liverpool, and you stay there for a couple of years. But my brother Phil said to say hi to you, man. He always thought highly of you, man, and all my family did. My dad, mom, we all thought highly of you, Coach. We all loved you, and man, what was it like when you got there? And was that your first assistant coaching job? Because to have an assistant coaching job for George O'Leary, especially your first one, can't be easy and can't be. Tell us about it.
I had enough distance between them because I was across the parking lot in the middle school. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I coached the sub guys first. So I was coaching the freshmen, then the JVs before I got the chance to coach you junior, senior year.
Oh,
so I had enough distance. I had enough distance between me and him that basically he let us on the sub level, gave us the playbook, said, here it is, go do it. And just make sure these guys learn and they do it. And we did it well. I mean, my overall record at Liverpool and counting the JVs was 23-0-2. So I didn't coach you that year. We lost the one game.
Yeah. Holy cow, Erv. That's great, man. What a beautiful story that is.
So I had a better record than George.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Oswego beat us twice, and then we had to get a little revenge. I got lucky. That's the only interception. I had like 7 or 8 that year, but it's the only one I remember. And right before halftime, you were there. You remember. We really wanted revenge on them, and we went undefeated that year. But right before halftime, I knew they were going to throw outcuts to save the clock, right? So I just jumped an outcut, took it back. And
I remember it. Oh, my gosh. You're saying it, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh, my God. You probably got a better memory than me, Coach. I've had too many concussions, man.
35 years ago, right? And I still remember it.
Coach, we scored like that year. We scored like 360 points and gave up 33. Only 33 points all year we gave up, Coach.
We scored getting off the bus. and George always made sure that everybody knew they weren't going to score getting off the bus. No matter where they played them at home or played them on our field, they weren't scoring. And that's why he was so reluctant to put the young guys in at the end of games unless we were up by 40.
He did. We were up by 40, and I do remember coming out of the middle of the third quarter.
Because he didn't want anybody to score, no matter how they scored.
We had 3 shutouts the first 3 weeks, and we go to FM, and they line up for a field goal, and they bad snap it, and the guy runs around back there, and everybody's chasing him. Everybody leaves their man, and he throws it to my guy in the end zone. There's 3 wide open guys, and he throws it to my guy. Well, I was the captain, the leader. First points of the year, I gave up, right? Oh my gosh, I was so mad at myself and mad at that guy for catching that. I think the next possession, I hit him on the sidelines. O'Leary said, "You just got kicked out of the game." You just
I do remember that, but I didn't blame you.
Then I felt worse because we almost lost. But man, those guys. We had how many D1s did Henniger and Liverpool have on that team, Coach? 15.
My gosh.
15.
Almost all the starters. God, it was crazy.
It was. Have you seen anything like it up there since?
Well, later on, because football just became so competitive up there in Central New York. It was one of the. I still recruited the hell out of it because I was coaching lacrosse and it was a big lacrosse area. So I was grabbing anybody that even thought they could play football and lacrosse. And we had every place I went where I coached both sports, we had tremendous athletes out of Central New York. I recruited 35 of the 50 states.
Wow. Let's talk about your coaching career. You go back to your alma mater, University of Rochester, 1983. You stayed 6 years there, playing experience, great memories of your teammates, and talk about your first. Was that your? Let's see. You left Williams. You went to Williams in 1980 through 83 for 4 years, and then went back to U of R.
Well, Coach Stark had a hand on that because I was at Williams College after leaving UAlbany. Mm-hmm. I never planned on not coming back to Liverpool. I went to UAlbany to get my master's because I had to get my number of credits over a 5-year period, or you lose your teaching certificate.
Right.
So because I was coaching multiple sports, I took some courses up at Oswego 1 year with Coach Osinski. And after that, I said, I'm coaching 3 sports. I'm not spending all summer in school. They said, you can go take a sabbatical after the 4th year, get your master's in a year, and come back. So that was my plan. Went to Albany, coached football and lacrosse there. Don't know how the hell I got my master's in a year, but got my master's, and Coach Ford, the next guy on the staircase of lifting Erv Chambliss up in his career, said, all the assistant coaches, we want to make sure at the end of the year that you look into getting some interviews. So that was part of it. I interviewed at Dartmouth, Colgate, and one other, I forget right now who it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was Williams.
Yeah.
And didn't get an offer at Dartmouth because that was my top. Colgate was my top choice. Mm-hmm. Then Dartmouth, because they were both 1AA at that point. Right. And then Williams was Division III, and I had played against him when I was at Rochester. And Coach Stark was a Harvard guy as a coach before he was at Rochester, and we played all the NESCACs. We played all the Little Ivies. That was our schedule, was the Little Ivies. University of Rochester. We were independent of them, but we played them all.
Yeah.
So I applied at Williams because it had basketball attached to it, the job description.
Oh.
And I wanted to continue coaching basketball also. So the Dartmouth job was just football. Colgate was just football. Williams was football, basketball, and lacrosse. So I'm going like, okay. And I got the job at Williams.
Oh my God, Coach.
That was the easy part. The hard part was now telling myself, okay, you have one of the greatest jobs that you could ever have thought about at Liverpool High School. And now you're not going to go back after getting your master's. I called everybody I knew
for advice.
Coach Stark was one of those people, obviously. And he says, and Coach Ford, and he says, well, what do you want to do with your career? What do you think you want to be doing 30, 40 years from now? Yeah. I said, I don't see myself sitting in a classroom at Liverpool High School.
Right.
And that was the only thing that tilted me to saying, because I'm going to coach no matter what, where I am. Right. And I didn't see myself sitting in a classroom 35 years later. So I took the job at Williams. And from Williams, Coach Stark called me after 3 years and said, I'm retiring. They're hiring a new coach, Ray Tellier. And the club lacrosse team, the athletic director wants to make lacrosse a varsity sport, and they're looking for a head coach. So the first person I thought of was you. I said, wow. I said, wow, Coach. He says, well, I know you got a tremendous job. I know you love Williams, and you've been there 4 years, but this is an opportunity to be, a head coach. I was assistant coach in all 3 sports at Williams.
Right.
And he said, well, the job is open. I told the coach I'll call you. And see if you're interested. And I said, Coach, give me a day or so. Called him back, and I said, hey, Coach, it's like it's going home, and I can be a head coach. I told myself I wanted to be a head coach by the time I was 30 years old, and right now I'm 26. And I can be a head coach in lacrosse, and I can still coach football, and I can do it at my alma mater. I'm going to come for an interview.
Oh, what better? What a great story, Coach. That's beautiful, man.
So that's how I ended up back at Rochester coaching football and lacrosse.
Yep. We brought a few Liverpool guys, my good buddies, Tom Comer and Paul Goulet, played at the University of Rochester.
Yeah.
And, great players, good teams there. All right. So you're at your alma mater, you got your dream job, you're coaching, gosh, all three sports. What was your, I know basketball might not have been your favorite, but you're a coach at heart. If you had to pick between lacrosse and football, which one?
You can stop right there because basketball was the driving force in everything. And it was hard leaving Williams because I wasn't going to be able to coach basketball.
Oh.
And
so you loved all three.
Yeah, basketball. I love coaching basketball.
Wow, man.
And the job was head lacrosse, assistant football. Basketball was not involved. And that's why it was such a hard decision.
Right.
But after I went and interviewed, again, you got to make decisions.
Right.
And decision at that point was I can come home and coach at my alma mater. Yeah, I'm leaving a beautiful place, Williams College. I met my wife there.
Oh, wow.
But I took the job at Rochester and coached only football and lacrosse there, no basketball. But even though I was in the gym more times than the basketball players were at practice, watching and talking to the coach about what he should do next game.
Oh my gosh. I love basketball too, man. I just loved it. Played against Coach Jones many times, our PE coach.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I bet you guys played against each other a lot.
But that's what got me to Rochester. And then all of a sudden, we were a playoff team for 2 years. Coach set records, a Hall of Fame team at Rochester. Set records for interception as a defensive back coach. And went to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Finally beat Ithaca, who was the king of Central New York.
Wow.
And Ray Tellier got the job at Columbia.
So that's how you got to Columbia.
Yep. And that was a long decision. I actually made him wait until after the lacrosse season before I made my decision. He said, I'm leaving a position. He said, I'm leaving a position open.
Oh my gosh.
And you let me know in May when lacrosse season's over.
Coach, how many interceptions did you have as a DB coach that year, Racha? How many? 15, 20?
We had 28.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
We broke the record of the team that I played on. We had 26. And that was their goal. Their goal was to break the record of University of Rochester interceptions
that you were a part of.
Because I was a part of it. And
oh my gosh!
They catapulted that program into. They were called the Pass Bandits. They were in every newspaper article, on television all the time.
Oh, were they really?
Yeah, it was.
Did you guys play zone? I mean, would you guys? I mean, who talk about some of those guys?
We were mostly a zone team because a lot of teams were in those days.
Yeah. Right.
And that became the foundation of my teaching of being a defensive back coach was what scores in any sport, the item for the sport. I said the football scores. If you don't know where it is, you can't stop them.
You can't get it. You can't go to the ball. That's right. You can't pick it off.
Played every defense we played, except when we had to lock in some man-to-man. We were in all kinds of coverages, 3 deep and 2 deep, but we were focused on that football. Sometimes we had 2 guys going after the ball at the same time.
Coach, my little high school team averaged 15 to 20 picks every year too, man. It's unheard of now, man. That's what a blast it is.
Oh yeah.
Talk about some of your DBs that like had probably some of them had 7, 8, 10 interceptions that year.
We at Rochester, Rob Crudy from Strongsville, from Strongsville in Ohio. Rob led the team 2 years in a row. He had 6, and then he had 8.
Wow!
But because we were so good as a group, the team that I played for, Ralph Gebhardt, who also was a legend at Rochester, he's in the Hall of Fame at Rochester as a player.
Yeah.
Ralph was my teammate. He set the school record, which still stands. He had 13 interceptions, 3 returned for touchdowns. And that was the year we intercepted 26.
Oh, that still stands. Yeah, that won't be broken.
And that was a record that our guys wanted to break, the 26 interceptions, and we got 28. But
Coach, you know what that reminds me of? I read a book, Coach Saban's book, 4th and Goal Every Day. And in that book, Phil Savage points out that Saban values DB's characteristic of going and high pointing the ball more than any other characteristic.
Yeah.
You have to work on it. Yeah, I used to do it every day for like dozens and dozens of times playing the long ball, high ball.
Oh, yeah. Our guys would get so ticked off when they'd hear someone say, "Oh, that's why you play defensive back, because you can't catch." I said,
"Oh, yeah.
I said, we catch the ball in the opposite direction. We're running into it. You're running away from it."
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah,
it's coming to us faster than it's coming to you. So we got to have better hands than you do, wide receivers. And we don't know where it's going. You do. We have to figure out where it's going.
That's right.
Get there before you do.
Exactly. It's so hard. Defensive back is the hardest position on the field.
Oh, it's crazy.
Coach, wouldn't you agree? I mean, you're kind of biased, and we are, but it's the hardest.
Like I said, I've coached almost every position, from quarterback to defensive line to defensive backs, and unbelievable.
You have coached every. See, I haven't. I'm not good enough. I was never good enough to coach.
Well, yeah,
position.
my first year at Williams, the assistant head coach was the defensive back coach, Dick Farley. Dick Farley's in the Division III Hall of Fame. He had 5 years undefeated at Williams, and he was a defensive back coach. There's no way in hell I was coaching defensive back at Williams College. I was coaching D line.
Wow.
For 2 years, and then I moved to coaching the quarterback, because I had coached at Albany and I had coached at Liverpool.
Oh yeah, quarterbacks. Yeah,
but I coached D line. I coached D line the first 2 years, and boy did we have a ball.
Oh, yeah.
we were nasty. Pendock would have loved playing for me on the D line.
Oh, every Wednesday night we talk about Pendock and Blaze. We talk about that George or the D line or something. Oh my gosh, Coach. So Ivy League. So you go in the Ivy League. Those kids are super smart. They're smarter than I am. You had to know you had to know your stuff. They'd call you out on it, but you also. I mean, even though they were smart, I would. Coach, I know a lot of coaches don't take like suggestions from players, but I would listen to my smart players, and if something they made sense, I would run it. Did that ever happen with your guys? Did they ever come to you and say, "Coach, if we can play this coverage here"? I mean, talk about the dynamic of coaching these brilliant kids.
Dynamic. Well, you got to go to Williams also. The kids were brilliant kids. They were brilliant, wow. And what you had to do at a place like Williams and the small Ivies and the Ivies, and in my particular case, my job was to convince them that in order for them to be the best player they're going to be, they got to do the things I tell them to do.
Yeah. Yes.
And eventually, by the time they were juniors and seniors, they could write the playbook. Because not that I'd say I'm a great teacher, but I was a great teacher. But at the same time, when I said they could write the playbook, they virtually had to in our meetings, because I made it that tough.
Yeah, you kept a high standard. You used like a professional game plan in college.
Yes, and they had to follow it, and we tested. We tested mentally and physically all the time. And because if you wanted to be on the top, we had goals.
Yeah.
We had goals.
Yeah,
and
right.
I said, well, everybody has goals. I said, yeah. But in order to get to the goal, there's steps to get there. And what are the steps that you want to do? What do you have to do to get to that goal? And every year I made them, what John Wooden did. It was a pyramid of success.
Yes.
They would have to, when they came into their first meeting every preseason, they'd have to have their pyramid written out. At the top of it was team winning championship. Next was me being all league at my position. And then it went down from there. The ultimate goal was for the team to be a champion. The
self-actualization phase, yeah.
The ultimate goal for the player was to be the best player he could to contribute to that. And underneath that were all the important things that they had to write out in front of me. And they wrote them out in front of each other and put them on the chalkboard. These are things I need to do. If I want to be the best defensive back, how do I do that? First of all, I need to know what I'm doing. And then I need to know how to do it. Right. And each one of those things requires steps below that are more important than the ultimate goal, because I can't get to the ultimate goal unless I do these steps one at a time by position. And they were position specific. And I gave them to the linebacker coaches. I gave them to the D-line coaches. I said, you guys can use this chart if you want.
Oh, great idea, Coach.
I didn't create it. John Wooden did.
Right. Yeah, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's books out there. There's seminars. There's other coaches you can learn from, and that's what I did as a coach. I dove into all these books from John Wooden to Vince Lombardi to Bobby Bowden to Bear Bryant, and I studied all those, and I learned coaching and teaching are similar. You have to have explanation, demonstration, participation, correction, and repetition in that order. And so you also say, I read somewhere you say, I expect truth and accountability, a goal-oriented approach built on commitment, dedication, accountability, and work ethic and loyalty. Wow, Coach. Yeah, that's good stuff. Learn from George, Tom Coughlin, Bob Foreman, Ray Tellier, all those guys you learned in sounded like goal-oriented stuff. Beautiful.
And you had to go back to answer your original question was how did I coach these brilliant young men? Is because they had careers coming. They had courses they were taking, the things. Every day I'm on the phone with what they're doing. I was just checking today. They own their own businesses. They're corporate guys. They're lawyers. They're doctors. They're you name it. And every day I up on LinkedIn and things like that, I'll pull up something will show up on my phone and with one of them giving a lecture or one of them getting a promotion or one of them doing whatever. And as soon as I either text or call or any of them, the only thing we talk about is football and their experience.
Coach, because that is priceless. There's not money, fame, fortune, sex, nothing compares to that.
No. And they just and we had a personal connection, which I started at Columbia. At the end of the season, we would do something together that no one else was invited to do. So we always had a bonding. We always had a bonding at the end of their senior years. Yeah, where they were treated a little differently than the guys that were coming back to play next year. Right. And so we probably a week or so or a weekend before graduation, we would do something as a group where they would be treated not like my players. They were treated like my closest friends. Yes. And Absolutely. we'd go out together and we'd do something together as a group. And the most famous thing in the metropolitan area here in Albany was the union guys. We started a little thing where we would go out before graduation, and each one of them would get something I wrote about them, a photo of them as a player making one of their best plays, and a photo of them with the group, like our preseason defensive back shot.
Wow.
and then something that I wrote about each one of them.
Yeah.
And then so that everybody knew that who we were, we made sure wherever we went, that people knew who we were. Each one of them got fedora, sunglasses.
Oh, nice.
And we'd walk into a restaurant or a bar together, and people are going like, who the hell is that? So when I see them now in their high profiled careers,
Right.
Undoubtedly, they'll say, hey, Coach, I got the picture on the wall. I'll show it to you. We'd always have a photograph of all of us, no matter where we went, because somebody would want a photograph of us, and we'd get it sent to us. And
Coach, that's being transformational.
That was our bonding. That was our bonding.
That's your bonding. No, Coach, that's more than it's more than bonding, Coach. It's called transformational coaching. And I learned that in a book, Inside Out Coaching, by Joe Ehrman, a Syracuse guy. That's right. Okay. Yeah, great book. Changed my coaching, to a transformational coach versus a transactional coach.
Gotcha.
A transformational coach is other-centered. Transactional coach, what can you do for me? Right. It means more to you to see achievement from your players as opposed to your accolades. I heard you say. That's what a true coach is. I did a little thing for my seniors. I had a special class. I would keep the newspaper articles during the week, and every week, starting in preseason, I would make a note just once or twice a week. I would write notes about what happened that week. I put it in a scrapbook, gave it to them at the end of the year banquet. Oh my God, Coach, to see the response from those kids.
Definitely.
All it. Whew. All right. So you're not going to decide between football, lacrosse, basketball you played. You still go to basketball games too, right? You go to all your schools around there. Tell everybody.
I'll go to Williams because I coach basketball there. And it's not the same amount of draw to me now because there are very few guys.
Yeah.
But one of my greatest experiences as a coach was coaching the 1982 basketball team at Williams. Do you know what was going on in the sports world in 1982?
No, I was caught up in Coach Bryant's last year.
Olympic boycott.
The Olympic boycott. That's right.
We took the Williams basketball team to Cuba to play their B team because Cuba, they weren't traveling and they were having a tough time because they weren't sure they were going to boycott because it really wasn't up to them. It was kind of up to the Soviet Union as to how much leeway they're going to have to be an independent and go and participate in the Olympics, but the Soviet Union was not going to.
Right.
So the basketball coach at Williams at the time and the athletic director and the athletic director's wife were very, very outgoing in the religious field and political field. And they were doing a lot of work in the Caribbean and in South America.
Mm-hmm.
So they figured out a way to get us, the basketball team, to Cuba for 2 weeks over the holiday season to play basketball and practice with Cuba's B team.
Wow.
And we were there for 2 weeks.
What an experience.
An unbelievable experience. And not just the basketball, just the experience of being in that country. It was like time had stood still from 1959 when Castro took it over.
Wow. What kind of effect did that have on the players? What were they saying?
They didn't say much. We practiced together. We played 4 games that we had officiated and played like a game other than just practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And each game got more, they kicked our butt. We were Division III. And we were
Right.
playing these guys who are 26, 28 years old. That were all just trying to make their mark so they could be on the varsity team and represent their country in
Right.
the Olympics. And we practiced hard, and we for a couple of days, and then we'd play a game. We practiced hard, and then we'd play a game. Well, we were off for 2 weeks. So we were in Cuba for 2 weeks, and we played each other 3 times, and each time we got a little closer because, you know, we're talking about American basketball. This was, you know, foreign basketball. They were pretty good at sport, but nothing like things we see now.
Right.
Basketball. So we could compete with, it'd be like Division III Williams going and playing a Division Syracuse in basketball.
Right.
Well, yeah, the varsity guys are going to play a couple minutes, and they're putting the JVs in to play. Well, it was kind of like that. We were playing their JVs, and we were pretty close to their JVs until we got so close that we almost beat them. They beat us at in the last minute of the 3rd game. So we're playing in the big arena the weekend that we're getting ready to leave, and huge crowd. We can't figure out what's going on. We've been here for 10 days, and the crowd was never this big. Fidel's in the arena.
Holy cow. Holy mackerel.
So
you couldn't lose that game.
A couple of guys that are playing, we're like looking at them, we're going like, we haven't seen these guys before. So a couple of the A-team guys were on the squad.
Oh, I see. Just to make
to
sure
make sure this game wasn't going to be close because the boss was sitting in the arena.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
And that was 1982. Let me connect the dot for you because you'll love this one. After the game that weekend, Penn State's playing Miami for the national championship in the Rose Bowl. And you can get a signal from Cuba with television signal, but you have to be up pretty high on a building. So the hotel we were in had a rooftop restaurant. So this is 1982. We're having dinner. We're on the rooftop, and we're getting the signal of the Penn State Miami game. And Penn State upsets Miami. Fast forward, Greg Gattuso, who I coached with at UAlbany just recently, he was on that team for Penn State.
Ooh.
And Greg left a year ago to go back to Penn State as a defensive consultant. He's coaching, but he's not on the field coaching.
Right.
And he went back to Penn State because he played for them for that national championship team. And Roger Goodell's younger brother, Jeff Goodell, played on that basketball team that I coached.
Oh, wow.
And we stayed at the Goodell's home before we left for Cuba on that trip during that winter.
Oh, wow. You coach Roger Goodell's little brother.
Yeah, Jeff.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, full circle, coach.
Yeah.
It comes around. Holy mackerel.
So that's my basketball story. And that was the end of my basketball career. It was Williams. That was it.
Jim Brown, Syracuse, great lacrosse player. People don't know.
Oh, gosh,
people don't realize he was an amazing athlete. Him and Jim Thorpe.
Yeah.
Great Jim Thorpe. I read his book recently, his biography, and it was like 500 pages. It was just riveting. Jim Thorpe was just a riveting character. And they still name the best defensive back in the NFL.
Gosh, yes.
Jim Thorpe Award.
Well, the Manhasset Long Island. That's where Jim Brown was from. Probably my greatest mentors as a lacrosse coach. And people always ask me, "You didn't play lacrosse. How did you become a lacrosse coach?" I said, "Well, the similarities were very, very close with basketball. The only difference is the field you're playing on, and you got to manage you got to manage the ball.
Right.
You got to score, and you got to break a press and get back over and score on the other end.
Picks and screens and everything else.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing for me to do as a lacrosse coach was not the strategy, because the strategy to me was basketball on a grass field, and I had more people, and I could go behind the basket, and it was a little more physical. There weren't fouls called as prevalently.
Right.
The hardest thing for me was learning the skill of handling the stick and the ball.
Right.
And back to my days growing up with the guys from Corning that I hung out with at basketball camp and football camps, they were all Americans at Hobart and Syracuse and schools in Maryland, and they became close friends of mine. They became head coaches at all the major schools in the Northeast and in Maryland. And I just loved being around those guys. Every summer I went to camp at Hobart because the Hobart coaches knew that I was starting a program at Rochester, and I needed to get around and see players and be a recruiter.
Right.
And I went to Hobart every year that I was at Rochester. I was one of the coaches on the staff for summer camp.
Wow.
And we go back to Jim Brown in Manhasset. I coached with Renzi Lamb at Williams, Manhasset, Hall of Fame lacrosse coach.
Wow.
I got mentored in recruiting and got some of his drop-offs from Cornell with all of a sudden I'm forgetting All-American coach. He just passed away. Cornell.
But you got some of the guys
Richie Moran.
Wow.
Coach Moran, also Manhasset. Jerry Smith. Hall of Famer, coached at Hobart, went to Princeton, and became a legendary coach at Princeton, Manhasset.
Wow. And Syracuse has a great tradition, right? From the Native Americans there.
And then you talk about the Native Americans with Lafayette and the Central New York crew.
Lafayette.
There were so many connections and players. I don't want to start naming names because I'll forget too many of them.
Right.
Terry Corcoran, Joe Corcoran, and Mike Masser from West Genesee. Terry Corcoran and Joe Corcoran from Corning East, and Mike Masser were the only two high school coaches in the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame. And Terry Corcoran was one of my best friends that I did not go to high school with. And he was an All-American 3 years in a row and won 4 national championships at Hobart.
Wow.
I used to love going and hanging out with him in the summer, and we just.
I don't know if you ran into the Simmons, right? Roy Simmons and his son.
Yes.
But not to go off subject, but Joe Ehrman talked about his football coach at Syracuse was a very transactional coach, but his lacrosse coach was transformational. And the football team wasn't very good, but the lacrosse team was winning national championships. That's how much he was influenced by that lacrosse coach, Roy Simmons. What a great person and coach that he was.
Over and over again. You talk lacrosse, and now it's all over the country, but I grew up in an era where, and I didn't even play the sport, but I was overwhelmed and inundated and totally encircled by some of the greatest coaches in the sport.
Yes, Hall of Famers right and left, all over.
Yes, all over the place. all over
That's
the
how,
place.
man. Those are your champions, Coach.
Yeah.
I would have never played. I would have never played at Alabama and in the NFL and in the pros if it wasn't for champions in my corner, man.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for coaches that had my back, coaches like you, Coach, that always gave me a good word.
Well,
And,
like I said,
I wanted to go to Syracuse, but God had different plans. Thank goodness. Thank God. Right? Because I'd either flunked out, dead, or been in jail, or all three if I stayed at Syracuse. So it was good I went down south. I guess O'Leary was I'm sure he had something to do with it, but I thank him every time he comes on. And George, thanks for not taking me to Syracuse.
Definitely. and that group, your group, the 79 group at Liverpool, were so talented, and to see that everybody was getting what they wanted, and then to look and see you grasping and like, what can I do? Where can I go? Who can help me?
Yeah.
And then to find out a couple of years later where he ended up, it was just so gratifying. I said he deserved it because he worked his tail off, and it was always a goal that he wanted, and he finally got there. I was so proud of you.
Thanks, Coach. Choked up on my own show, Coach. Thanks.
Well, I'm
appreciate
just saying,
you, man. No,
everybody was saying how good this guy was. I'm not going to mention any names. How good this guy was. How good this guy was. I said,
thanks, Coach.
Coaches. I said, you don't know who our best player is. You're mentioning all these people. This. Oh my God! We don't know who our best player is.
Yeah, Coach, it was such a special time. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of athletes, and most of them played in the pros. Yeah. And I have to ask them every time I get them on. I have to ask them, man, what was the most special time in your life playing sports? And almost to the very one of them go back to high school. The pros, you're married and kids, and everybody goes their own way after practice. In college, you're going to school, and it's really a business at that level. Yeah. But high school is really something special. And man, I know not just me, Coach, but a lot of players are glad that you spent your time there in Liverpool. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, and we built that from dirt. Literally, and you know what I'm talking about. We built it from dirt.
We did, man. We're proud of that. Yeah, I know.
We brought in our own dirt and our own grass.
Yeah, our own sweat, buckets of blood, sweat, and tears, right? Buckets of
God, yes. And we got exactly what we earned.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. Thank you for spending time and telling everybody your story, man. I'm so glad you did.
So it's so good. It's so good to talk about it because nowadays that's what I do.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what everybody says. I played football for 20 years. I coached for 20 years, and I tell everybody now I'm just going to talk about it for 20 years.
So I'll show up and somebody goes, "Oh, that's Coach Erv. What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm watching a game." In which game? Pick a sport. Pick a school.
Coach, God bless you, man. I love you, man.
I love you too, Paulie.
Okay, buddy. Have a great one. We'll talk soon.
Great talking to you, and
thanks, buddy.
Keep spreading the word.
Godspeed. Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Coach Erv Chambliss. What a special dude he is. Yeah, man, we were lucky. We had a lot of good coaches. High school, just filled with them. I want to thanks for watching the show. Sorry I got choked up, but hey, it just means you care. That's all. Stay tuned for these messages. Without these great sponsors, this won't be possible. So long, everybody.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
When it comes to buggies and golf carts, nobody does it like Buggy Works. Hi, I'm JP Wibbs. We've got the largest selection of golf carts on the Gulf Coast. We have a brand new 10,000 square foot state-of-the-art service center and showroom to keep you rolling. We're right here in the heart of Car City at 5831 Pensacola Boulevard. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 3. Check us out at buggyworks.com. Buggy Works. Come by and see why we're the #1 Denago dealer in the nation.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple pane of brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
There's a reason why Hill Kelly in Pensacola is the #1 selling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer between Jacksonville and New Orleans. While other dealers have taken advantage of a competitive market with higher prices, Hill Kelly has discounted prices to the lowest of the year. And Hill Kelly in Pensacola won't surprise you with excessive charges beyond the selling price. Come see why people from Milton, Pace, Foley, Bay Minette, Daphne, Gulf Shores, Mobile, and beyond are driving to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to buy their next new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram. At Hill Kelly, the bottom line price and your satisfaction are what really matter. So before you sign, check the bottom line and make the trip to Hill Kelly in Pensacola to see what true local ownership can do for you. At Hill Kelly Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Highway 29 in Car City, Pensacola. Or shop online 24/7 at hillkellydodge.com. When it comes to bottom line pricing, nobody beats a Hill Kelly deal. Nobody.